Hi Cancer, I'm Philippa, and let's just dive straight in with your Celtic cross. This is also for olive people in honour of the olive harvest that's going on here at the moment. So your internal world is the Queen of Pentacles. It's a lovely card. Just trying to straighten out the towel I've got on this bench and how that makes you act in the external world. How that makes Cancer and olive people act in the external world. Five of Pentacles, and something at the basis of the reading. There's a little slug coming towards us. Six of Wands. Looking at my towel, deciding if it's going to get on it. No. And something from the recent past. Something from the recent past. This. I don't know whether that's my neighbour or falling. We've got the Knight of Wands. This pile flew out, but there were too many, and the Knight of Wands was separate. And a potential outcome. A potential outcome is Cups. And something for the near future. Eight of Wands and the Four of Wands. Your attitude, Cancer and olive people. King of Cups. And your environment. Hangman. Your hopes and fears. No. That's just a whole bunch of cards. I'm going to start again. Your hopes and fears. Cancer and olive people's hopes and fears. That's better. Four of Pentacles. And an outcome. Two of Cups. So it's quite a cuppy reading, I think. I mean, only that we've got them both in the outcome portions. And one is potential outcome based on sort of your inner and outer world and circumstances, and then we add in your attitude and environment and hopes and fears, and we get another cup for the actual outcome. But also wandy, so it's sort of in between those two, about marrying libido to the heart. Could that be true? We haven't got the devil here. That's what's popping into my mind. That's what's popping into my mind, and I'll dive in and I'll explain why. We've only got one major. So we see you, Cancer, as the Queen of Pentacles, and I put my glasses on and look at her. There is like a snake I've never seen before that goes from her crown all the way down to the floor. Do you see that? Almost like a serpent whispering in her ear. So she is this domestically perfect, not perfect, but very highly valued domestic, beautiful character who looks after everyone around her, but also wants to be very valued herself. And then I can see a snake in her ear. Her libido, her desires, how do they fit into this kind of perfect internal world? Are they being acknowledged properly? And the reason I think that this might be what the reading's about is in the external world, the way this makes you act is the Five of Pentacles on the outside of the Five of the Church. The nice thing is that you're with someone, and sometimes people say that the blind person is being led by the crippled guy with the crutches, and that she is able to help him stand up. Like the broken parts of ourselves, if we fit them together, a bit like I'm sitting on a mosaic bench now, they all make sense. These broken pieces all make sense when we put them together. And a bit like those amazing blocks in Graham Hancock's second season of Ancient Apocalypse, these sort of amazing hewn rough wood, sort of perfectly made stone blocks, but with strange angles, many, many angles that then fit perfectly into other blocks with a very tight seam. So it's not as if the mortar kind of absorbs the differences, if you see what I mean. So there's something of that that's coming to me here on the external. So you're limping along, you're doing a really good job of it. The parts of you that are a bit exiled and unable to participate in this domestic life are nonetheless kind of limping along with each other. There's an anchor in this window, and it's as if what you need to find is what anchors you into this world, but with all your parts, is what I'm hearing at the moment. And it's the wall of the church looks very sort of speckledy and unrealised to me, even though it's sort of a solid dark mass. It's somehow, I know we normally say what they need to do is get into the church, but here I don't think they do. I think they need to find a way of anchoring all parts of themselves into this world. They're walking on snow, but they're also walking on a kind of blank sheet of paper, as it were, as if they're not sure of where this path is going to take them, because whenever I see Waite in the tarot, it's always like a kind of unknown path, slightly unfilled in. So feeling very wedded to one's home, but with this serpent of something slightly unacknowledged that then is making you try and fit the pieces of yourself in together on the external world. You're probably focusing on what you don't have, even though internally everything seems very orderly. There's something missing for you. And at the basis of the reading is the idea of success and acknowledgement from one's peers. So is it that it's no longer good enough to be seen as a domestic goddess, somebody who makes things beautiful, slightly bougie, a mother? Is there something more that for you to feel truly acknowledged and successful you need to have realised within yourself? And I look at this card today, all the people seem to be looking in the same direction, but not the horse. They're all focusing on something, including the rider. Instead of looking at him, I'm seeing them all looking at some prize or something that they want to attain or that they're focused on. And the horse is he coy, or is he in denial of this reality? So the beast that gets you where you need to go, where you sit, your vehicle through life, doesn't want to look at what everybody else in this picture is looking at. So some structure that is what supports you is in a little bit of denial, I think, of what the true focus for you at the moment is. And in the recent past, I love this, the Knight of Wands, and he is our sort of love 'em and leave 'em. He's the libido, and he would be the lover that comes and goes, the passions that come and go, the kind of the not denying how strong our life force is, and sort of not denying ourselves and our whims and our wishes and what we want to have. Something I'm noticing here is all these, normally the wands are very long and tall. These are ones coming up. See how it doesn't appear on the other side of the horse? I sort of feel like it should. I guess it could just about finish at the base of his body. It sort of gives it a kind of less of a rooted feeling, more of a kind of, I can go wherever I want. I've not planted this rod in the ground in any way. It doesn't sort of even reach towards the ground. It just explodes towards the air. I'm going with my whims, with my fancies. And this horse is really chuckling to itself and is loving this ride. He again is not looking forward like the other horse, but he's sort of in the moment, I feel. He's not in denial of anything, he's just totally present in this moment. His hoofs are sort of seen to be off the page, and it's interesting because the top of this horse, a little clip of its ear is off the page. So if we think of hoofs there are standing, how rooted and grounded we are in the world, and maybe there is a sense with that rod that's not going all the way down that there is a sense of slight sort of untetheredness, because we see those disappearing, and also his tail, the thing that would indicate how he felt, that would again root him, is also not present in his hindquarters. So I feel like there's a sense in which it's an ungrounded sort of swell of libido or passion or artistic sort of urge that has sort of hit you. And here in the basis, if we think about ears, what we're hearing, he doesn't want to hear something, this one. It's only a little bit of denial, but he doesn't want to hear what this lot are all looking at. He doesn't want to know about it. And so in one potential outcome, when we just see this battle going on between your kind of sort of set up life and then this kind of rush of passion that's come to you, the outcome is falling in love with something new, being offered something that you really love and falling in love with it. And this dove and the communion wafer and the yods and the lily pads are what are all jumping out to me. It's sort of like a fountain, obviously, with those 5 streams, a bit like the 5 of Pentacles. These 5 Pentacles suddenly, when the emotion starts flowing, it feels like they give way. And those could be tears or they could be yods. I mean, they are supposed to be yods, but maybe in this one, they're like tears that then feed this great big sort of well of emotion and grow these lilies. So it's a productive sense of grieving for what you want to connect to and that your life doesn't particularly support, but you're at peace. And it's a peaceful pond, and it gives this beauty, and there's something sort of rather lovely about acknowledging it. Then something that comes up in the near future, more wands, messages about partnerships, about, it could be marriage, it could be business partnerships, it could be parties, literally. This is a huppah or a mendip. It's a stage card, by which I mean we have those 2 lines, and that means it feels as if there's some sort of event that's coming up. There's a message about an event that is going to feel significant to you, or you're giving yourself lots of messages. These wands are all pointed in the exact direction that you want to go. 2, 2, 4, sort of multiplying in they're in groups of 2, 2, and 4, multiplying in their intensity. And look at that funny little short one, a bit like the Knight of Wands. So maybe there are more messages of a kind of this building passion, and it could be that it's an artistic project or something that you really want to communicate on social media. It would be very likely in this day and age. Lots of things get played out there. It might be some sort of urge to communicate, but certainly messages and goals and focusing on one. And there might be this event. But also it's interesting because another 5 that we don't have on the table, but is the 5 of Cups. And in that 5 of Cups, we tell the character, please turn around, stop looking at the 3 spilt cups and turn around and look at the 2 that are still standing. And that will give you a way over this bridge. And it's this same bridge here appears in this card. So it's as if you've gone from the lack of the 5s into finding a way of expressing all of this kind of desire and urge to communicate, because possibly it is artistic rather than sort of purely sexual or lusty in other ways. You know, that artistic urge is also very, very linked. They're the same kind of energy. They are the same energy, some people think. Well, I'm sure they are. And here, if this bridge indicates getting out of a 5, okay, not this 5, but another 5, getting out of the sense of lack, it's almost like you've found a place to house these two. What are they wearing? Red and blue. And here they are in red and blue, but being celebrated with another kind of wreath, a success, and with their flowers held aloft. And they even have a sense of the crowd that's here in the back of the Six of Wands, or following the Six of Wands on his horse. This crowd seems to be with them, so it's like the two have merged, and you found a way of getting some sort of acknowledgement for these pieces of yourself, I think. You've made a wedding with them. It's interesting how white their faces are, and white the bridges, as if things aren't quite filled in yet, but they're definitely in a pose of kind of success and celebration. And so some message or some communication, either to yourself or from somewhere else, allows these people into a space to be celebrated. Now, it's not a home. There is a home in the background. It implies home because a wedding would imply a home, but it also feels like a sort of party or a kind of a temporary structure that's put up. So it might be that you found a way of temporarily accommodating this, or sort of starting to move towards it, that might then turn into something more positive. It's interesting, the crowd all have their back, as if they've taken you in this direction. Come on, this is where we need to go. This is how you will get your true sense of acknowledgement and success. And now they've sort of delivered the two characters from the 5 of coins into this kind of union, this solid union, and now they're off almost to find other people to help. I'm looking at the red peaked little cones of the roofs, beautiful bower. And I love how, you know, usually the ones have all these little bits of green growth all the way along them. Most of the ones do. You know, pretty much every one you can see here. They go all the way along, as if there's so much life force that's popping out everywhere. But here, they're just at the top, like little adornments. They're not on the poles, as if they've found their place and they don't need to search. Those little those little leaves that are looking for light and looking for direction, don't need to search anymore. They know where they need to be. So that's really amazing. So that's changing the narrative quite a lot. You've found a place for these annexed parts of yourself, these desires, be they artistic, sexual, just body-rooted, kind of suppressed parts of you. And your attitude as the King of Cups. So sort of probably quite in love with this new experience, but also a little bit all at sea. He does look a little bit, I can see the whites of his eyes there. He's like, oh my God, what's happening? And he's got one of these kind of containers like the Emperor does, that need the ball of the Empress put on top of it. Oh no, sorry, the Emperor is holding the orb, but he's got the sort of cup holder, and in the Empress there's a ball on top of that. And so it's as if he's still waiting for that to happen. So you probably do feel like this sea is very, very, very choppy. And you probably are feeling like, oh my God, what's happening? Why am I so awash with this new disruptive? This doesn't fit with my Queen of Pentacles. What does this new partnership with part of myself mean? Where will it lead? And in your environment, yeah, the Hangman, everything seems a little bit different. It's as if there's this incredibly productive pause where you have to give something away, kind of give something away of your stability, give a coin away, you know, it's almost like she's had to give her coin away. And I don't think that means literally becoming poor, but I mean it means give some of your security away, the security in what you think is happening in your life and how it should play out. He's hanging on this tree and he's doing it in order to gain enlightenment. It's Odin. And this is your environment. So it is quite a kind of time out of time in a way. It's very clear all around him. Again, we do have the sense of those bowers, but they're not quite as sort of adorned, garlanded with flowers yet. This is where you're at the moment, like trying to work out how to make sense of all of this. And your hopes and fears are, am I going to stay stuck in this place, in this phase that felt endless, again a stage card, that didn't feel like I'd reached the end. But also, gosh, if I let this kind of change sweep through me, what will happen? Because really he's quite fearful of letting go of that coin. And he likes how things have been. But it's 2 fours that we see here. And in order for him to get over that bridge and get into this 4 of Wands, I think he does have to let go. But you're frightened that you won't, frightened that you will, understandably. And where it's all leading, a very harmonious friendship, love between these parts of yourself. It is a stage card, but I think the passionate red lion, the caduceus, this healing symbol, indicates to me that you are going to find a way to bring these 2 sides together and make some sense of them. And it's lovely. One is wearing the wreath of success, the lady on her head, and the other, he's got like red passionate, like the red passionate feather, and actually like her hint with her serpent that I've seen for the first time this morning going up the side of her, but she's got 2 little red feathers as well. This character's got a red headdress, a red sort of beaded headdress indicating his passion, and they're in harmony. He's reaching out, the passionate character, very tentatively and gently, as if to say it's okay. Look at his leopard print tunic. It's quite unusually animal printy for this deck. You don't really see that anywhere else. I mean, obviously you see the salamanders everywhere. You do see dots, but this is very specific. It's like an animal nature melding with a calmer, more sort of traditional nature. And there is something of these 2 characters in them, isn't there? Look, the blue of this tunic and the blue of her over tunic, and the dots of that cape and this sort of more realised dots. It's as if they are finally somewhere where they can be acknowledged, and the blind passions, because often this character is seen as blind, the taller woman with the dots, the blind passions are kind of integrated, and the feeling of being unable to move forward healthily is integrated with these 2. How wonderful. Right, where have we got to? 23 minutes, I'm going really fast, that's great. I'm going to pull a card from the Enchanted Forest deck. So this is what I like to do, just because you do the reading and then you ask the other cards if there's anything they want to highlight or bring your attention to. Quite often they repeat cards, so is there anything that needs to be highlighted on this reading or added to? There we go, there's the 1 card. It's kind of hanging in the air. Keeper of Boons. Oh, he looks so happy. This is the counterpart of the Queen of Pentacles, I think. Let's just check. Look at how happy he looks. I think they're happy with this idea. Keeper of Boons. Weaver, Seeker, Keeper, yeah, they are the kings. Right, Keeper of Boons. So the Queen has got her king, and it's a bit like this. And I just want to point out that what changes, I mean, they're both loving, but it's lovely to see the integration of those parts of you. What changes is allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to see things from a different direction, and allowing yourself to let go. That's what goes in that vertical line. So, well, the character traits: values home, history, tradition, family, warm, jolly, lusty, generous, knows what you need most and how to get it. While the Keeper of Challenges wants you to solve your own problem, the Keeper of Boons will solve it with you, or more likely for you. Because he's the King of Pentacles, he sort of makes everything okay, a bit like the Queen of Pentacles does. This wizard's magical energy is protective, gathering, sheltering. He will rescue you from the scary forest, feed you, tuck you in, kiss you goodnight, and see you on your way in the morning, all calmly and with a sense of humour. He's also a master of crystal lore, all manner of earthly treasures. He puts these to good use, making magical tools and jewels attuned to the user's needs. Seek him out when you need some fatherly support. If this card doesn't represent a particular person, it can signify that material help is at hand, as well as a practical advice that should be heeded. This may be a good time to ask for a loan or a raise. He's in this crystal palace, and I feel like actually he's sort of just cheersing you and saying, yep, I can come and join my queen, your internal queen now, because I've integrated with this aggressive badger energy that can be very aggressive, but he's calmed it, he's tamed it, he's at one with it. I don't know what badgers, anything that's very, very aggressive is going to have a lot of passion. So I think he's just giving you a kind of toast to say, great, do this journey, this is amazing. And it will then feel very secure for you. You're back in the home, the place that you love. And we've got the tarot of Shining Tribe Tarot. It's funny, when you suddenly decide you can't remember something, having remembered it forever and ever, what does this one have to say? The Emperor. Yeah, so 2 really strong masculine figures turning up for you. How interesting. Let's see what he is in this book. It's another 4. So we've got the 4 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, and now the 4 of the Emperor. And remember the 2, 2, 4 of the 8 of Wands in those configurations. So the Emperor, number 4. It's quite imposing. He lays down the rules, he marks out the places, he arranges the horses, he builds the tall buildings. And the little meaning in... Oh, it's got so hot, and I can't take this off because it's got the mic on it. I don't want to fiddle around with it too much. The play between aggressive and healing energy. It's a bit like the Keeper of Boons as well, because he can be very bossy. Abstract ideas, rationality, setting firm boundaries, ruling your own territory, taking responsibility, emotional remoteness, sexuality, specifically masculine sexualities, father and fatherhood. So there is a fatherhood and a kind of sexuality link here. It's really interesting. A kind of growing up of the Knight of Wands, I suppose. In some modern tarots, the Emperor symbolises the oppression of patriarchy, the stifling qualities of rules and laws. In the Rider Tarot, he appears as a harsh old man ruling over a brown, jagged desert. This card, however, is more complicated, embracing creative ideas, civilization, abstract thought, and healing powers. The Stag's Head reminds us of many cultures where God takes on animal power. Such horned gods celebrate the life force energy and generate force of male sexuality, the partner to the Empress's nurturance and passion. The antlers branching from his head symbolize the sexual energy, but also creative thought, which branches out in many directions. Similarly, the black squares, these are around him, symbolize ideas which open to worlds beyond the physical. Yeah, you're opening up. You're allowing this through. This sexuality and creativity. In ancient times, people saw geometry as a representation of the sacred because it idealized the chaos of nature into pure form. The figure in the picture is based on a photo of a shaman encountered by Tsar Nicholas II on a journey across Siberia. A Tsar is a legal emperor, but a shaman travelling beyond human laws to the spirit world. He wears a blue... But a shaman travels beyond human laws to the spirit world. He wears a blue crescent to symbolise his connection. That's on his front of his coat to symbolise his connection to the triple goddess of the moon. Traditions that celebrate the horn god see him as the goddess's lover. There is all this love, this partnership, and that animally person in the Two of Cups makes total sense now, where all that passion gets put into context and made sense of. His red hands and eyes, as well as the stripes of his green robes, signify the complex issues of blood and maleness, the blood of sexual erections as well as the blood of war and violence. Behind him we see a city, an image of civilization. At the same time, he stands on or behind a bull from the cave of Lascaux, a painting 17,000 years old. Above his head we see a glyph for a shaman, showing that he journeys to the spirit world above and to the land of the dead below to bring back healing power. To his left, the glyph describes transforming sexual energy, a sexual or aggressive energy, into creative healing power. Amazing. You've learned how to transform this. This is wonderful. We see first a phallic image, then a double line showing that the shaman moves in different dimensions, and finally a phallic image with a snake inside, like the snake I saw on her that I've never seen before. On the right, we see more glyphs of the shaman's journeys and creativity. A number of modern tarot decks have taken on the issue of patriarchal culture. They have tended to see the emperor as a kind of villain with gentle, childlike males as an alternative. Such images both belittle men and demonize them. The shining tribe emperor is a powerful, compelling figure, strong and charismatic. Some people, especially women, react to this card with fear. They see the emperor with his red hands and eyes and his powerful stance as a threat. If so, the card gives them the opportunity to look at certain issues in their lives. Do they have trouble with authority? Do they find male sexuality threatening? What might trigger such reactions? Were they scared of their fathers? In all this, we look at the emperor as outside ourselves, some figure or energy we must face in the world. It might be a strong experience to imagine ourselves as the emperor. What might it be like to contain and express such power and determination? The emperor defends his territories, he builds, he creates cultures, he establishes laws, and in the Shining Tribe Tarot, he himself travels to the worlds of the radiant spirits. Many of us would benefit greatly if we saw this power in ourselves. I love this reading for you. What a noble pursuit. Open up to those other voices. That's amazing. I'm going to pull two more cards. One is from the Lua Tarot. And I also wanted to mention I'm reading a book called All Fours, which is interesting. All fours. Four of the Emperor, four of those Four of Pentacles, four of the Four of Wands, the stable structure with passion in it. And it's by Miranda July, and it's very, very open and challenging and about sexuality, desire and creativity. And I wonder, look, that's interesting, the Five of Coins is turning up again, but this time with an older male. Why does that need still to be attended to? Because that's your outer world. And I wonder whether you should have a look at it. I'm reading it for my book club and I'm giggling away. Well, you know, it's amazing actually. It's a really honest, bare book. And I wasn't entirely sure about it, like you often aren't when you start reading a book, but it's her boldness and her creativity and its life force is very like this energy here. And she's daring to look at things that people don't like to look at and daring to speak things that people don't like to speak about monogamy and long-term relationships and women as they age, where their sexuality goes, where their physical and creative drives go, whether that's it or whether it can keep going. Five of Coins, the Lord of Material Trouble, Mercury and Taurus. Insecurity, poverty, financial setback, rejection, worry, temporary troubles, loss of money or faith. A bearded man and a child are standing in front of an ornate gate, busking. The man's coat and clothing seem well worn. The title, the material Lord of Material Trouble, indicates material hardship. This is usually short-term and linked to economic setbacks. However, this card isn't just about finances. One may be feeling lack in other areas, or faith, like faith, health and self-worth. One may be feeling shut out, anxious about money and not taking care of one's body's needs. I mean, that's how women of a certain age can feel, or women of any age, if they're not encouraged to fully embody who they are. Shut out from their own creative power and their own sexuality is a very scary place to be. Their needs, their self-worth. The Five of Coins asks us that we keep the faith, to keep working on ourselves and believe there still is good in the world. It is abundant. Instead of focusing on lack, focus on the opportunities and how you will take action. And he is like the traditional old bearded emperor figure. I think that's a comment on that, which has been transformed in Rachel Pollock's deck into something more shamanic and wonderful. Like, maybe we feel a bit divorced from that idea of that old patriarchal male, and maybe we need to start relating to the wild, generative, shamanic male power that resides in all of us, rather than annexing that part and thinking it's okay to just, that's toxic and we need to kill it, metaphorically, within ourselves, because with it goes a lot of travelling to other worlds and a lot of harnessing creative and sexual power. Miranda July's All Fours, what you would very much like if this reading is relating, if you're relating to it. So this is the Visconti Sforza deck, just because we're in Italy, and and I don't know it very well, and it doesn't have a full, but the death, obviously the death, and the must be the Ace of Cups. How lovely. That's such a beautiful final comment. Let yourself die and be transformed and come back with all this love that we already see here with the Ace of Cups. Like, fall back in love with life. The old way it's been is probably not right. And it's interesting, he holds a wand in one hand, that little one, but also a sort of serpentine staff. It's very interesting. It really reminds me of what I was seeing, the shape of what I was seeing in that green serpentine scaly cloth that goes up to her head in your internal world. Let that inform you. It does look like, I wonder, because they do have a little explanation in Italian for the major arcanas, La Morte. I don't understand this enough. Una freccia nella altra mano. It's talking about what's in the hands. I wonder what they are. I'll get this translated and put it in the notes. Ask my boyfriend to translate it. A radical change, an irreversible change, but it's not necessarily negative. When you get this card, you have the capacity to change and use this situation of crisis in some way. I mean, I don't see, yes, I suppose it did appear as a crisis because you felt locked out. Look at his hollowed out stomach and his big grin. He's got a big grin on his face, and what's in his stomach? More of his spine. That's like these two wands that he holds, and it's a rather pleasant. He's on a cliff again, like the Fool. A lot of these show them on a cliff, and I love the jaunty little bits of his headrest, like little kind of Snoopy ears, like he's doing a Snoopy dance. He looks really happy about this transformation, and who wouldn't be with all that love? And isn't that lovely? Because I've always wondered where those fountain-like aspects comes from, and it comes from this Sforza, which is from the 1400s, I think I'm right in saying. So yeah, it's got that sense of kind of passionate outpouring. Oh, lovely. Like so much love and life force and emotion. What a wonderful, wonderful reading. Yeah, check out Miranda July, All Fours. Be ready to slightly have your world rocked if you are in this position, because it's so bare and honest, and it feels like a very important voice for women generally, and certainly women in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, I think 60s. Anyway, I haven't got to the end, so let's see. But thank you so much, Cancer. What a wonderful reading. See you again. Bye.